I
Oh,
think we are live now. Hello. Hello, world. Welcome. I am Kim Romaine, and I am here with the lovely, the wonderful.
that's me, Louise Neal.
It's like, I know. And hi, Mel. Mel is here with us.
I know.
Welcome, Mel. Welcome. We started our podcast doing this live.
We did. We did.
Yeah. And then we stopped doing it live and we went to all recorded episodes. You can check out 100. I know we've edited 180 some odd, so that there's probably 180 some odd out there in the world. But we decided that we wanted to go and do a hybrid thing with our podcast. And so this is where the title of this comes in, this is the idea of we're curious. We're curious to see what happens if we do a little bit live and we do a little bit recorded.
Yes. Curious to see what the audience does, what the appetite is, but also curious for ourselves too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I miss a little bit of the live, although our conversations are very spontaneous and not curated or really edited at all. And so there's a live component to it, but there it's different when you're live, like this kind of stuff. And I missed it a little bit.
Yeah, I love it. Stephanie just said, down with the plan, love the curious mindset. It's huge to lead into curiosity. I think that and I say we, I mean like humanity, like just everyday human beings walking around in the world. I feel like we've lost a lot of our curiosity because we're just getting through the day. And when we're curious, we're open to possibility. We're open to what else is there. We're potentially seeing something we've never seen or experienced before. Like what? I know you love curiosity. Like you're always like, be curious.
I do.
Why? Why do you love being curious?
I think it's one of my core values, actually. And I try to be as curious as possible because I feel like when I'm curious, I can't be judgy. I don't get attached to outcomes. My expectations aren't outsized or oversized to what's happening. I feel like curiosity for me is a bit of a wayfinder. And like the more curious I am about um, it, almost anything, the more surprised I am, the more fulfilled I am, the more connected I am to me or others. So it feels like it's a I don't wanna say it's a tool, but it does kind of feel like that. Like it's a gateway for me to be present, and to be connected. That's what I think curiosity brings for me anyways.
Yeah.
How about you?
Connected outside and inside.
Absolutely. Because I think in curiosity, even just as like asking the question, it tells a lot about me to me.
Mm-hmm.
And finding that space, finding that way to connect. Absolutely. And that's when I'm curious externally, but also when I'm curious internally as well. Right? Like curiosity doesn't have a container for me. It can live and breathe anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Mel wrote out there, the capacity for curiosity is definitely limited with all of this going on. In case you're living under a rock, I'm sorry, get out from under it. Like the world feels fucked up. The world is heavy. The world is challenging energetically. I mean, you and I talk about this all the time. Energetically, collectively, there's a lot that we're all holding. And you just talked about, right, that internal and external connection and being able to bring that back, that energetically back to yourself. And I think when we have diminished capacity, because the world feels challenging, because we're burnt out, because we're stressed out, because we're overwhelmed, that capacity to come back to ourselves, to find that place of curiosity does get diminished. It's not gone, but it feels harder to get to. Okay, well, that's part of going live, is sometimes our cameras and our technology falls over. We are also in the shadow of Mercury retrograde, like now. So just Woo! The next month should be fun.
So, okay, so my question to you is around curiosity. How can we use curiosity to actually replenish our capacity?
Mm, love that. Yeah. So it's what's fascinating to me is curiosity is a tool and a outcome at all the same time, because we can be curious about what is going on if we feel that diminished capacity, if we feel disconnected from self, you were talking about, or from others, if we feel that disconnection. Curiosity becomes the gateway, right? It's the place where we can say, oh, is there something going on here? What is going on here? Um, what might be going on here, right? That is a level of curiosity. Curiosity then can be the outcome of, right, when we are really connected and we are open and that portal is available to us. Now it's an outcome. Now the curiosity is what we're following. So instead of using as a tool to tap in, it's a tool to, or uh, it's what is happening. It's the choice that we get to make, is to be curious. Does
Right.
that even make remote sense?
Yeah, it's funny because I use the word tool, and it's not really a tool in the sense of like it's a state of being almost. And you're right, w- it can feel exhausting to continually be curious about the world and stuff that's going on. And yet, I believe curiosity is something that can ground us and replenish us and bring us to a deeper knowing of who we are and hopefully to others as well, right? As we think about expanding love and kindness outward.
Yeah, well, yes, and don't we have to start with that inward? Don't we have to do
Yes.
me we have to do me first.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and so turning that internally, and I think so there were two parts to the title, to this, to what we're gonna do today, right? Like, leaning into curiosity, which again, we'll keep talking about, but to get out of our own way. And it was interesting because I was just having a conversation just prior to us going live about this concept of me first, this idea of selfishness, and how it has become such a conditioned response that, well, excuse me, I don't mean to be selfish, versus I'm selfish in that I do need to take care of me. For we hear the mask, we hear like, put the mask on first and then give it to somebody else. But we don't really mean it. I think, like, collectively, people don't really mean it. Because if they did, then selfishness wouldn't be a bad thing. Because we get in our own way by refusing to be selfish, by refusing to say, I need to take care of me and be curious about me.
Yeah, it's interesting that we hear that every single time we go on an airplane, right? Like if
Hmm.
you got it, we wouldn't like you wouldn't even have to say it.
Well, and every ridiculous self care book or self help book says it as
So,
well.
um I think too that there's when you say so let me back up. Let me ask
Yeah.
you cuz I'm curious about that that whole idea of getting in our own way. And so absolutely I think there's that disbelief a lot of times where being selfish is actually caring and needed. But what does it mean? Like, tell me what it means to you when you hear that, like, get out of your own way, or like, what does that even mean?
So to me, it means get out of get out of your conditioning. Um, not yeah. I mean, I think we're in our way when we are operating from how we have been conditioned to operate. Not We're not being true to ourselves. We're not in alignment with ourselves. We're not. Um, the buzzword authenticity. Authenticity to me can't happen when we're operating from a conditioned state. Purely, right? Because when we're walking around carrying everybody else's beliefs, thoughts, um, ways of being, thinking that they're ours, acting as though they're ours, and that is getting in our way. So us getting out of our way for me means getting out of the way that I've been told I'm meant to be.
Mm.
Right? Conversations that we've had of what time can do I need to start work in the morning to be a responsible entrepreneur? That's your choice. Get out of your own way and figure out what works for you, for your energetic need, for your financial needs, for your clients. Like, you need to figure that out. But we don't figure these things out for ourselves because we're in our own way. We're overthinking or we're overcogniting. I have that whole thing of, and it comes, and it is a whole thing because I've spent so much of my life overthinking, overanalyzing, overcogniting, and trying to think my way out of a paper bag, and it doesn't work. I can get there, but I'm not getting there in an aligned fashion. I'm in my way.
What about those folks who don't know that they're in their own way? Like,
Is it bothering them?
that's a good
Is
question.
something bothering? So, I mean, I think this is a huge issue that we find in coaching and self-help and personal development, even in professional development. Sure, in professional development, if there's a performance issue that is impacting their ability to do their job based on the expectations that have been agreed upon between the employee and the organization, sure, we have something to point to there. Outside of that, if something's not bothering somebody and they're not creating harm, what business is it of ours?
Well, then they're really not in their own way.
Probably not.
Right?
I mean, they may be, but that's not my business. That's not my business.
Yeah.
I might be curious about it if I think that I'm like, "Ooh, are you in your own way? Is that how are you aligned that way? Like, is that who you are? Cool. I don't understand it. But I don't, I'm not meant, none of us are meant to understand every human being."
Yeah. Yeah. I think it gets interesting when I think about, how I've been in my own way.
Mhm,
And sometimes it's like, oh, yeah, look at me following the shoulds, or look at me kind of like getting pulled into some place that I just don't want to be. And it happens often. And I'm not saying like every week, but like when I think about the course, like I've been in business now for almost a decade. And when I think about how many times I have been pulled out of alignment, or I've stepped out of alignment without realizing it, without checking in and knowing that, and going down this path that's clearly not where I want to what I wanna do, that's me getting in my own way, right? That's
mhm,
me not knowing or not trusting myself to make those choices or those decisions on how I wanna build my business and where I wanna be. And I also know that probably throughout my life, not just in my business sense, but in my life sense, is that there are some times that I don't know that I'm getting in my own way.
mhm,
And feel like I'm carrying on and fighting the good fight, and then something happens where I'm like, "Ooh, like, this isn't who I am. This isn't where I wanna be." And that can come with self-realization, right? And it can also come with somebody pointing it out.
mhm. Yeah. But are they pointing out and they're saying, "Ooh, you're out of alignment?" Or are they pointing out, does that feel like you're in alignment? Like, is it a question or are they telling you?
Well, it's maybe it's both. It's happened in both ways, but I still appreciate the question.
Sure, I do too.
Right? And if somebody says, "Hey, you're out of alignment," I get to be curious about, like, what made you think that, right? Here's curiosity. What made
Mhm.
you think that? Am I really? It's time to check in, right? And so I think for me, regardless of how the question is offered, that it is a gift where I get to reevaluate, maybe what's going on or what I'm doing. Because I don't like I've never done this before. Like
Mhm.
I've never done a business before. I've never done, right, 53 before. I've never done this before. And
You said
so
53, I'm like, "53 what?"
I'm 53 years old. I've never done
I
53
know.
before.
Yeah, well,
Right? Like I've never I've never done these things. And so oftentimes I don't even know the questions to ask. As curious as I am, I often don't know, like, and what else, right? And what else am I not seeing or not tapped into? And that's where community becomes so important, right? Who are we in all of this, and what does that look like?
yeah. It curiosity st curiosity starts with awareness. It's hard to be curious when we're not aware. And I think without going too far down this rabbit hole, I think that's a lot of what is creating a lack of capacity right now is those that have awareness, have even an inkling of awareness, are also searching for ways to increase their capacity because they're feeling out of alignment. They're feeling disconnected. They're feeling dis-ease. And so that awareness leads to curiosity, leads to finding a solution for themselves, ideally. And then you have a bunch of people walking around in the world that may be feeling all of those things as well, but aren't aware of it. And so they're not going into that question of, right, do we fix that person? Essentially, is how I heard the question, may not be how you meant it. They're walking around. Do I want them to be aware? Yes, please.
Sure.
Yes, please. What we can do is we can offer, things like this live, things like our podcast, things like I know Stephanie and Mel and others that are listening put out in the world. We put them out in the world to create awareness. It's up to each of us to be curious enough to pick it up and go, what is this thing? And when we choose not to, when we choose to ignore it, and we choose to go around in, I don't know what the word is. I have to be really careful here. I feel like I need to be careful about how I say it. Um, when we choose not, because I'm going to go with it as a conscious choice. It's a conscious choice to not be aware. It's a conscious choice to not be curious. And so, therefore, yes, you are getting in your way. And you're not only getting in your way, you're getting in the way of the collective. You're getting in the way of evolution. And does it piss me off? Yes. But I'm also not going to spend my energy. I'm going to spend my energy still putting things out for people to find awareness. But I'm not going to put my energy into trying to chase down people who aren't there yet,
Right.
right? Who are tripping over their feet in their own way.
Right.
There's other work to do.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Right. And um, we can get caught very easily in giving our energy away in that space.
Yeah.
Right. 100%. And it gets tricky because we want the collective means everyone, right? And so we want everyone to be, right, in their power, in their selves, and giving back to the collective as, right, as a symbiotic. right? We are the collective and the collective is us. And we would love that. And so we do step out and try really hard to say, hey, right, what's going on? And at the same time, we still need to, right, make sure that we're not selfish and filling our own vessel before we're expending all of that energy. So it kind of circles back to that for sure.
Yeah. And yet that's still a really hard concept for so many people, right? And it's interesting because as you said that, I was like, the denial of our own need for selfishness is getting in our own way. Like that landed when I said that, when I heard you, and then I was like, ooh, that's a concept. Our denial of our own selfishness leads to us getting in our own way because we're not coming into awareness, then we're not coming into curiosity, and then we're not coming into our own evolution and development, our own growth. And if we're not doing that, if we're not making sure that we're aligned and we're growing and we're evolving and we're doing all the things that as humans we're here to experience and do and be, then we are creating dis-ease and disruption in the collective.
So what do what do we need when we find ourselves in that space of like, I don't know what the word is, but like unselfish. Unselfish? What do we need to
Selfless?
do? Self I don't know if that's the word either. But when we're not in that selfish space and we're giving too much away, what do we need to come back to ourselves? What do you think?
I'm laughing because so one of the people who's here today, Mel, we've been sharing this term back and forth recently of giving from my saucer instead of my cup. And what came to mind with that is the when we're giving, when we just keep giving, we're giving from the cup and there's nothing left for us. And it feels to me like that's the focus when we've just given so much of ourselves, when we've poured from this cup so much that it is just tea leaves at the bottom, just the little grains of whatever at the bottom, coffee at the bottom. There's nothing left for us. We have to find a way to fill that cup. We have to find a way to nourish ourselves so that we can eventually give from the saucer, give from the overflow. It's not that we don't want to give. We want to give. We right? I mean, it's one of my main purposes of being is being in service and doing, right? And caring for others. And if I don't if I don't take care of myself in the unique way that I need to take care of myself, if I don't ask for help, if I don't manage my energy, if I don't get enough sleep, if I don't eat the, foods that feel good in my body, if I don't have my spiritual connection, if I don't connect to the consciousness and to the energy beyond myself, my cup is dry. It is bone dry. And I'm still giving from there. So now they're taking my cup, or I'm giving them my cup. I'm not giving anymore from me. So I don't know if that answers the question. What do we do other than if we find ourselves depleted, if we find ourselves bone dry, we need to find a way to nourish ourselves, all of ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the nourishment piece, right? That because when we're operating from that empty cup, like there's nothing, like we don't even know what nourishment is anymore.
Right.
And so I think that's been a big disconnect around like what actually is nourishment. Like what is it that I need? Not what I'm told I need. What do I need to be nourished, right? And to be able to um, really embody all of that. When you're talking about like giving from a cup, like I really don't believe we should ever be. That's right. I use the word should. Um,
We
um,
won't tell anyone.
don't tell anyone because I don't want anyone to feel like I'm shooting on them. But I really do believe that we don't give from a cup. We don't. The cup is us. The cup is us. It's nourishment. It's liquid. It's fluid. It's water. It's all of those things that we need. Like, don't give that away.
Oh, I give that away all the time.
Give this away. Right? Like I don't think w- maybe we need to rewrite that whole like we can't give from a right empty vessel. We shouldn't be giving from a full vessel either. It's the overflow that we give,
Right. That's the saucer. That's what
right?
falls onto the saucer. Yeah.
So let's not think, oh, my cup is half full. So like I still have some to give. I still have a little bit left in my tank. Right. It's still okay. It's like, no, um, it's keeping that full. It's keeping ourselves nourished and allowing us to then be able to share that wealth because we get it figured out, right? When we know what nourishes us and fills us up, we're like, yeah, we've got this energy and this, right? This curiosity, this give now that we have, this gift that we have, this extra that we now can give away. And that just comes from an abundant place, right? That's that abundance that feeds everyone and not that scarcity because scarcity is my cup isn't full and I'm well aware my cup isn't full.
Yeah. I mean, the collective energy right now, and I've been talking about this a lot, is very constrictive. We are collectively operating from a place of scarcity and lack. So if you're feeling like you're operating from a place of scarcity and lack, there is reason we are all feeling it. It is the collective energy right now, one of the collective energies right now. And it's very thick and very strong. And I know for me, and I see this in my clients, particularly because, right, they work in social impact and social justice, and they want to give and care and take care of and take care of and take care of. And they do it to their own detriment. Right. I have a client that is it's an organization that gets a lot of state funding. And because the state funding is drying up, because thank you very much, they are trying to figure out how to stay afloat. And I keep working with them to stop focusing on what they're losing and what they've always done and start thinking, because we also have the collective energy of revolution, of and revolution, not just fighting, but revolution in terms of revolutionary thought. And so how can you do something different? How can you do something new? How can you be curious about what's possible? Get out of your own way of continuing to trip over your own feet and lose dollars after dollars after dollars and start aligning with something different that is still serving your population.
Mm.
I'm doing the same thing in my business.
Yeah.
Right? Because I want to give, because I know everybody's really feeling crunched and constricted and squeezed and, broke. Like, sure, I want to give because I want to support. But the reality is the more I give from the cup, the less I have to give because now I'm depleted. Now I'm feeling like, how am I going to make my bills? How am I going to, right? And when we
Mhm.
feel that way, we're creating that additional ripple into the world. We're adding to that feeling of constriction. We're adding to that feeling of lack and scarcity. So maybe, right, when we're talking about our cups, and you were talking earlier about right sizing, that sense of how big is your cup? I have my favorite mug is like one of those bowl mugs and it's like massive. When I'm drinking out of that mug, I never fill it to the top. Maybe I need to right size my mug so I don't feel like I have lack.
Right.
So I can work with my nervous system so I can find that capacity so that I can see, oh, it's not a lot of overflow, but it's a little bit. It's a few drops. And now I can start giving from there and still caring for myself. And as I do, there will be more overflow and more overflow,
Right.
right? It's
Yes.
scary. I get it. It's really scary.
Yeah. And I think our cups change all the time. Like we're not destined to walk around with the same, right, mug and know how to, exactly what is that? What does it take to fill that? I believe like even on a daily basis, sometimes our cup is just smaller. And so how do we start to understand that? You giggled.
I did because I just, when I was in Italy, I was like, I'm bringing home all the tiny cups. And then I will drink out of a right sized cup. Because it's true. When I was there, I was like, that's all I needed, just that little thing of
Yeah.
espresso. I don't need this
Yeah.
big ass mug, just
Yeah.
a little thing of espresso.
Yeah.
God, it was good. So if we circle back to this idea, because right, so we were talking about tripping over our own feet, getting in our own way. And this idea that I have to walk around with the same size cup. This is my favorite mug. This is the only mug that I use. And if it's not full, I'm screwed. Versus, ooh, wait, there's a really pretty cup over here I could use today. And maybe that's all I need. Let me try it out. That's curiosity.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's open the cupboard and see what other kind of cups are in the cupboard,
How
even.
many sweary mugs do you
Right?
have? I have lots of sweary mugs.
So, like, and that's what and I think that's why this topic just marries so well together because I really do feel like curiosity is the doorway, right? It's the gateway drug, everyone. Like when we can use it to examine some of those things in our lives that just aren't working, we come up with all kinds of interesting ideas and thoughts and ways to feel nourished and replenished and to still be able to give to the collective.
Yeah, love it. So we're being curious, and we're going to spend a month of Tuesday afternoons being here. Tuesdays are usually not usually, that Tuesdays are when our podcast drops in the mornings. And we're only going to be dropping the recorded episodes with our guests every other Tuesday. We're going to do this live on Tuesday, and then we'll repackage this and put this out in between. So we're going to be curious. We're going to see how this feels. We're stepping into a new little mug at this point and seeing what it feels like. Um, because we honestly were getting in our own way. We were tripping over our own feet with making sure that we were um, meeting the perceived needs of our audience. But we were not always meeting our needs. And so in our conversation, we're like, well, what would meet our needs? And so this is part of what we're experimenting with to meet our needs.
Yes, it's filling my cup right now and has for the last 35 minutes. Yeah.
Yay. Yay. Louise, we always end by asking our guests what they have going on in the world. What? I mean, you're over here on Substack. You have a cool Substack. What are you doing?
I do. I have the rag. You can find it at This Is the Rag here on Substack. And it's a conversation and a platform to talk about menopause and how it's impacting us. Not just our health, but how it's impacting our mental health, how it impacts our careers and how we show up. And it's meant to be a place and a space that's safe for us to talk about all the things, right? Menopause right now, there's a lot of shoulds in the world in this space around how should I navigate it, what should I be doing, and I don't want that. I want to create a space that's should free. So you can find that over here on Substack. Kim, how about you? What do you got going on in the world?
Oh my gosh, so many things. Too many things. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. Um, True, Manny Jen. So this week, no, excuse me, next week, I am taking part in a summit called Collaborations That Monetize. It's a really cool, both live and recorded summit that includes all sorts of speakers, myself included, that talk about collaborations like this, right? There are a million gazillion different ways we can collaborate and do work together. And I strongly, strongly, strongly believe the more we collaborate, the stronger our collective becomes because we have been again conditioned so much to believe that, right, I have to climb this ladder, I have to do this thing, it's me, me, me. And we've just talked about selfishness. Selfishness is fantastic and it's not the only way of being. So, how do we collaborate? How do we curate opportunities for collaboration? So, it's a wonderful summit. I'll throw some links in there somewhere. Um, I'm part of a fabulous group called the Coaches Circle. We have an open house coming up at the end of the month. That's exciting because we're doing a little membership drive for that. And then I have starting right after Samhain, so it's going to start on November 4th, running through um, just before the winter equinox. I'm running an Art of Manifesting group where we're going to be using Colette Baron Reid's book, The Art of Manifesting, as a guide. We're not going to, it's not, I started thinking it was going to be a book club. It's not a book club. I'm going to do some of my own work around it with the group that's there and then take them through. And it's a really cool book because it allows us to truly embody through working through curiosity and creativity to begin the connection with our collective energy, with universal energy, to manifest it, to bring things, and to be in action with it. So, like, it's woo woo, but it's not a type of manifesting where you're sitting on the couch going, "Well, why don't I have what I need?"
Sure.
It's actually finding action and doing that as well. So I'm excited. So those are like three things I have going on.
No. That's awesome. Colette makes my favorite Oracle deck. So I love the stuff she's putting out
Yeah,
into the world. That sounds fantastic. Love it.
super excited.
Yeah.
How was this for like diving in for the first time for you? Like,
Lots of fun, right? Like
yeah.
you and I, we have great conversations all the time. And to be able to just open the doors a little bit to these conversations and invite people in a live space like this, is pretty fantastic. So I loved it.
Yeah, thanks everybody who was live with us and who's checking us out on replay. We appreciate it.
You bet. All right, everyone. Have a fantastic Tuesday. Take care.
Bye for now.